Hello, my name is Mo Hill. I'm running for mayor of Toms River on the Republican ticket, row A. You can count on me to preserve the quality of life in Toms River. We're going to look to preserve open space in Toms River. We're also going to strictly enforce all our building and zoning codes. And we're going to look to keep taxes low with shared services and increased efficiencies in Town Hall. Welcome to the Mo Hill Show. I'm here today with our team of the We the People from Toms River. I have behind me Matt Latano, Kevin Gagan, Josh Kopp. We're here this afternoon to talk about Tuesday's election. After the election, we're going to be setting up a transition team headed by Assemblyman Greg McGuckin. We want to ensure a smooth transition from the Kelleher administration to our new administration. And we're going to lay out some goals for the first 100 days. The first thing we're going to do is publishing a list of the openings on the township boards. We have numerous boards around town, and we want to encourage the residents to submit applications. We're going to ask that these be submitted by December, because in January we want to start making appointments to the boards and filling those vacant spots we have. We're also going to be focusing on the 2020 budget. We'll be looking to set up a committee for shared services. That's going to be headed by Kevin Gagan. We're going to be looking to do shared services with the school board, county, state, and local municipalities in our area. We're also going to look to establishing an economic development committee headed by both Josh and Matt. They're both local businessmen. We're going to be looking to increase entertainment, restaurant businesses, high-tech industry to interface and integrate with our downtown redevelopment plan. We also want to set up a committee focusing on government efficiencies. We have a new program in Town Hall called Spatial Data Logic, SDL, which will allow residents to request OPRAs. They'll be also able to check on permits, where they are in the pipeline. And we're also going to be able to check on code enforcement violations, and also to request investigations of any areas in town where there might be a problem with code enforcement. We're also looking to incorporate best business practices that we can garner from the county, the state, and local municipalities. We also want to stress customer service. This is a big issue with me. Over the years on council, I've had a number of people who will come forward and complain about the lack of customer service or the length of time it takes for a permit. So we're going to be looking into that process. We have to remember that all of us in Town Hall work for you, the residents. You're our boss. You should be treated with courtesy and respect. We're going to plan to meet monthly with different departments. We're going to look into what's working, what's not working, where can we improve, where can we have efficiencies. We also want to institute an Employee of the Month program. I think that's important to highlight the people in Town Hall who are providing you with that great customer service that you expect. I also want to host a monthly Ask the Mayor or Meet the Mayor meetings at Town Hall. We can also stream these live on our website, and hopefully we'll get participation. So that's our goal going forward. We hope that you'll vote for us on Tuesday, and we're anxious to get started. And with that, I'd like to see if we have any questions coming in, or if any of the guys in the group have anything they'd like to add at this point. If not, we can take a break. Can we go to a break?
Hi, I'm Toms River Councilwoman Maria Maruca, and I'm supporting Mo Hill for mayor on November 5th. I've sat on the council with Mo for the past few years, and I know Mo to be a man of integrity, honesty, and a passion for his community. Mo and his wife Roseanne have raised their daughters here in Toms River, and 2 of his daughters are raising his grandchildren. I'm asking you to support Mo Hill for mayor, and also Josh Kopp, Matt Latano, and Kevin Gahagan for council.
My name is Tony Vaz. I'm the mayor of Seaside Heights. I'm here today to strongly endorse Mo Hill for mayor of the Toms River Township. I've known Mo for many years. I find him to be an honorable man, a man who has energy, good work skills, integrity. He's shown the community and the county his interest in government. His election to Toms River, I believe, will be very valuable to the community and the people of Toms River Township.
Hi, I'm Ocean County Freeholder Joe Vicari and former Mayor of Toms River. Please join me on November 5th and vote for Mo Hill for Mayor of Toms River on Row A.
Welcome back. I'd like to introduce Kevin Gagan. I think it's important that we talk about our volunteer squads in town. They're very important. As you know, Kevin's a retired police sergeant. He's also a member of the Silverton First Aid and a firefighter with the Silverton Fire Department. So I'm going to call Kevin up to the mic now and have him talk about programs that we're looking to recruit new volunteers into our different organizations. So Kevin, I'm going to step back and you can come up.
Well, thank you, Mo. Good evening, or good afternoon, all. There's a number of volunteer opportunities in the town, starting with like the Police Explorer post, the cadets of the police department. I actually started out there before I was a sworn police officer. I know I'd never included that in my bio, but it's a good start for younger people to get involved, experience law enforcement, to see if that's a direction they want to take. That can take on a number of different channels, from police officer to maybe forensics, so on and so forth. All the boards that we have throughout the town, there's different ones like rent leveling board, things of that nature, that we really rely on people from the community to have their input for it. In addition to our emergency services, the first aid squads, the fire departments. Our fire departments are always looking for new members. They provide the training at the fire academy, which is second to none. Again, at that level, it certainly saves us money, and the manpower is certainly needed. It's a nationwide crisis, not just here in Toms River, but everywhere. In addition to that, with the fire districts, it's something we'd like to look at in partnership with shared services agreement. We have the fire districts, look at the schools perhaps with different health plans. As we all know, health insurance costs are increasingly rising for everyone. So we just want to turn over every stone. They may have been turned over in the past, but I think having a fresh set of eyes looking at it, having the taxpayer, the people, come to us with their concerns that we've heard when we've been knocking doors, to look at these things again. And perhaps maybe there's been laws that have changed, other things that have changed since the last time. Different options have been explored through shared services, whether it's with the MUA, the county, maybe another county, different municipalities. See exactly what they're doing. Try not to reinvent the wheel. Just take what they're doing, see if it works for our town, and take it and run with it. Is there any questions coming up?
Just somebody saying they get your vote.
Okay. At this point, I'll certainly turn it over to Matt or Josh to talk about some other plans that we have for the future. Matt? Josh?
Don't fight over it, guys.
Good afternoon. I'm Matt Lotano. I'm running for Toms River Town Council. So the big thing for me is the Economic Development Committee, which goes hand in hand with taxes. So it's not just about businesses, but the businesses lower the municipal taxes. It's a big thing for me. Also, Route 37, the corridor from basically the Parkway to the Seaside Bridge, a lot of those buildings that have been there forever. They're run down. We need to get a little stiffer on the vacant buildings on Route 37. I'd like to encourage new companies to come in, remove the older vacant ones, and build up from there. That's a big thing. That's a road that people come from all over the area, Philadelphia, New York, all over, to come to the Jersey Shore. Our beaches are spectacular, and there's tourists coming through, and there should be places to stop for them and make that a destination as well. On that note, I will turn it over to my running mate, Josh Kopp, who, everybody says they want a fresh face in politics, and it doesn't get any fresher than Josh. All right?
Well, thank you, Matt. I think the biggest thing we want to stress here is, to capitalize on what Mo talked about with us serving the residents of Toms River. One thing we want to stress is, having that customer service feel that when people go down to, the building department or have some permit submitted, that our people that are working for our township are working for the residents in a way that we would feel that is best for our residents. One thing we also want to stress is giving everyone the equal opportunity to be part of these boards. If you have some issues in the town that you feel strongly about, put your name out there. Say you want to be part of, it could be any kind of board. It could be the zoning board, planning board, and get your applications in so we can look and evaluate and have the appropriate people put into those positions that we feel are right. You know, the biggest thing, like I said, we work for you. So we want to make sure that that's stays, you know, true to that. And, you know, we feel that this team is going to work for you, and we're going to work very hard to make sure that Toms River's a great place to raise your families and, you know, grow your businesses. I think at this time we'll take a break. Break? All right, we'll take a break this time.
My name is Frank Holman, and I am the Ocean County Republican Chairman. I was elected May 15th of this year. My job is to help support our local Republican candidates. And Toms River this year, we have a very important race. We have a great slate, a great ticket headed up by Mo Hill. And then he's complemented by 3 council candidates, Kevin Gagan, Matt Latano, and Josh Kopp. And we're very proud of these guys. One of the issues that I've mentioned since I've been elected is that the need to recruit more young people to our organization. And Josh Kopp and Matt Latano are great representatives of our young, homegrown youth. So we're glad to have them on the ticket. And then at the head of the ticket is Mo Hill, who's a retired Rear Admiral, has been a great councilman in Toms River, and has waited his turn really to take the lead here, and he'll be a great leader for Toms River. One of the things that's been talked about frequently the last couple of weeks is development in Toms River. Mo's very aware of that, and Mo has led the way in preserving open space, and he has more plans to do that. He'll work with your county elected people and your county freeholders to make sure that trend continues. And then his council people, Kevin Gagan has been a lifelong first responder. His father and his family, between the first aid, Kevin's a retired policeman from Toms River. Kevin just believes in public service. We're lucky to have him, and he's been a good mentor to these 2 young guys that are running with him. And Matt Latano's family, involved in contracting in Toms River and done some really nice projects downtown, been very active in the downtown revitalization. And then finally Josh Kopp, who just finished 6 years in the National Guard. He's a contractor, a businessman in town, and we're very proud of this ticket. We're going to have a low turnout election, meaning that we don't have a governor running this year. There's not a Senate race this year, so the trend is typically somewhere around 30 to 35%. I think Toms River, it may be a little bit more because it's a pretty lively campaign so far. So turnout and organization are very important. Toms River has a strong Republican organization. Jerry Ambrosio leads that. Peter Van Dyke's the municipal chair here, and we need to maintain good Republican government in Toms River. And there are some issues. Mo's aware of them, and who do we need? We need his experienced leadership to take over as mayor of Toms River. Vote November 5th for the Mo Hill team.
Go, Mo.
Welcome back. One of the points I want to make, I'm going to bring Kevin back up for a couple of minutes, but I wanted to make this point that I think the unique feature that we have on this team that's not offered by the other team is that we have 2 young businessmen and we have 2 people that both have experience in municipal government. And I look at Kevin and myself as being the bridge to the next generation. And I know you're always looking for new faces on the political arena, and I think we have 2 that are probably 2 of the brightest people I've ever met. I'm impressed with both of these gentlemen. Josh's knowledge with solar power, and when we had the hearing for the solar farm was very impressive, and we're still pursuing that, hoping to maybe get some energy from the solar field since it's in Toms River. As I said, I've been impressed with his knowledge, and Matt, with his knowledge of downtown, the history of downtown, and he's done redevelopment before. He's very knowledgeable in what's going to work downtown and what's not going to work. So again, we've got a nice blend of, I think, experience and youth. So I think that's a positive for our ticket that the other side does not have. It's important going forward that we have experience. I want to bring Kevin back up. He had something he wanted to address, and then we'll continue. We'll take probably one short break and then finish up. So, Kevin?
Thanks again, Mo. Yeah, Mo had spoke about town hall meetings, and it's something that's been very successful in other towns. I think we all would agree going out knocking on doors people certainly have their concerns, but they may be intimidated by coming to town hall. They don't have the time to come to town hall, or they're just getting their information off of Facebook, and rather than a credible source. By doing a town hall meeting, we want to get out in the community to you, your clubhouse. Maybe you're having a little event. Certainly call us up. Any one of us will stop so you can ask us questions directly, and you'll get the information or get pointed to where to get the information. That's really worked out well for the police department many years. You probably heard of coffee with a cop type thing. A lot of people were intimidated. The police officer driving down the street in the car, and did you know him or not? Was he the community cop? And throughout the town, Chief Little's done the coffee with a cop, again breaking down the barrier, where trying to make it more personal. Fire Prevention Bureau, they've done a great job in preventing fires, getting out into the community, the schools, the different developments, social groups, civic groups, and all. And that's where we're lacking as a government. And we want to do that. We want to correct it. We need to hear from you. We need to hear the problems you're having so we can correct them. We've all, as I said, knocking on doors. It's easy to, say that you've heard one thing or another, but when you find out where to go for the facts and the truth, you can make your decision certainly much easier from that. And again, we'll, whether it's one of us, all of us, whatever the case is, we want to come out to you, your community, your home, your neighborhood, so you don't have to come to town hall. So, okay, right now we're getting some questions.
We have one question coming in. What can we do to reduce taxes in Toms River? We've already discussed a couple of things. We talked about shared services. We're constantly looking for efficiencies in the way we do business. As I mentioned, the SDL program is one where I think we'll be able to reduce the workload downtown, free up some more people, possibly reduce the workforce in areas where we have efficiencies. One example that I point to all the time is the Public Works Department. Years ago, we went to RoboCans, and we went from 3 people on the trucks to 1 person. It's all automated, so the driver doesn't have to get out of the truck. He uses an arm that dumps the refuse into the truck, and also same with recycling. It's also cut down, and it's saved us on workers' comp claims. We constantly look at our insurance policies, and one of the things I mentioned earlier in our 100-day program was that we're going to be looking at the budget. And a critical part of that budget is cost. People are always the most costly part of any budget, and we need people at Town Hall to serve you. So we're looking at ways to economize on our health insurance. Last year, we started some discussion in-house about possibly doing self-insurance with catastrophic cap as being an example that we might be able to save on insurance costs. So we're constantly looking for ways to pare down the budget and keep it reasonable. We all pay taxes in town, and nobody likes paying more taxes or increased taxes. I will tell you that for 3 years in a row now, we've had a 0 tax increase. We also are we are $2,000 under the state average for taxes. I know that doesn't mean much, that doesn't resonate, but that's still $2,000 under the state average. For a town our size, I think is remarkable. We've got almost 100,000 people, and we're providing quality services to our people. I'd also like to talk a little bit as we head toward the end of this election cycle. It's been a difficult primary for us. It's also been a very difficult election cycle. We have put forth a very positive program. If you've gotten our literature in the mail, we have our bio on one side, and the other side is our positive platform. It's open space. We've talked about the properties we've purchased. We purchased the Cox Crow horse farm. We talked about the Fleischer property. The Hankins property is being purchased now by the county in a cooperative effort with Toms River. We've also talked about our plans for downtown redevelopment. The Caudina Hooper Avenue, where we still stand potential of the VA coming into the area. We've been very vocal on school support and restoration of aid. As I said, I'm invested in the community, as are the gentlemen behind me. We have children and grandchildren in the school system. I have a daughter who's a teacher. I've been to the 2 Trenton rallies. I've been to Board of Education meetings when they discuss the budget and the cuts. I've seen how deeply these cuts are going to affect us, and we need to rectify that. I've also reached out to several of the leaders in the New Jersey Senate to obtain funding. I will tell you that I've been told by a number of people that there is an aid package that's sitting on Governor Murphy's desk, and it's been there since late August. We're now almost 2 months into the school system, school season, and there's been no action on that. That's inexcusable. Our opponents, on the other hand, have not put forth a platform at all. It's very vanilla. It's very bland. It's, they want to increase the quality of their life. Well, tell us, how are you going to do it? Instead, they've adopted an age-old Democratic tactic of attack, personal attacks on me. The good news is I was an offensive lineman for 8 years, so I'm used to taking the blows from a defensive lineman and opponents and getting back up and getting back in the game. So I've ignored those. However, I would like to address 5 major lies from my opponent. The first is the 3,000 units of affordable housing. You've seen pictures of me with an ill-fitting yellow construction hat. At least Photoshop a hat that's going to fit on my big head, for God's sakes. But I will tell you that of the 3,000 units, 1,735 of them were from rounds 1 and 2 in COA. What does COA mean? COA is affordable housing. Rounds 1 and 2 ended in 1999. I didn't get on the council till 2004. So 1,735 of those units were rounds 1 and 2. They were before the change of government, before any of us that are presently on the council were serving. When we first got on, round 3 started in 2000. It runs through 2025. We were given an original quota of 2,400. We said no. We went before the courts. The court master reduced that to 1,285 units. So it's not 3,000 units, it's 1,285 units, and that goes from 2000 till 2025. The second one is there's a misnomer out there that I passed a 2-acre house of worship ordinance. That is not true. There is no 2-acre house of worship. We have a 10-acre requirement because of the CAFR restrictions in the northern section of town. You can only build on 30%. That means 30% impervious coverage. That includes the building, the parking lot, the sidewalks, the curbs, everything. So 10 acres will only allow you to build on 3 acres. We've had a number of religious communities, namely the Muslim communities on Route 9 and on Whitesville Road that are constrained by the environment they're currently in. They're on 5 to 6 acres, and they need growth because of their community, yet they can't build anymore because of the restrictions. The third one is there is no 10-story building in downtown. The master plan may call for it, but the current plan that's being developed calls for 4 stories of apartments with 2 stories of parking garage. So maybe it's 6 stories at the most. There's not going to be a 10-story high-rise downtown. Another lie that's been out there that's been proposed by my opponent is this $51 million that went to developers. I will tell you again that $51 million were HUD funds following Sandy that went through the New Jersey Home Mortgage Finance Agency specifically for affordable housing. And they went for 100% affordable housing out off of Massachusetts. It was Green Meadows, it was the Cornerstone Commons, developments like that. You could not use this to build single-family homes. It had to go for low-income housing. There's been a misnomer about streetlights. This really got blown out of proportion. It wasn't well reported in the news. There was a meeting held between a grant writer for the town, BPU, Board of Public Utilities, the Green Energy Group from the state, and the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, who would be replacing the bulbs. It was about replacing this current mercury vapor and sodium vapor bulbs with LED bulbs. This was going to give increased brightness, it was going to be energy efficient, and it was going to reduce costs. I would encourage you to drive, and where you see a flat street light, in other words, no bulb hanging down below it, go drive by that area at night and see the difference in the light that's generated from those LED bulbs at lower cost, less energy, and they last. It's impressive. I mean, it floods the entire street so that you can see both sides of the street, not just right below the street light. So it's a safety factor for cars traveling. If they're going around a curve and you've got an LED bulb, you're going to see the entire curve, not just one lane. I think that when you're looking at the mayor's position, I think you really need to start with somebody that has experience. I have served on the council for 16 years. I served 2 terms as Ward 3, which was the northern section of town, and most recently I've served 2 terms as a councilman at large. I think I've gained a knowledge of the entire town, the depth and breadth of this town. And I will tell you that I don't think we need a mayor who's going to get on-the-job training. We'll point out one incident. We were both at Ortley Beach with the Ortley Beach Voters and Taxpayers Association. They posed a question to us, would we be in favor of a small community center for them to have meetings in? Jonathan got on the microphone and he said they could use the Ortley Beach First Aid Squad. I had to remind Jonathan that 6 years ago that building was demolished following Sandy, and it's now a clamshell parking lot. The lack of knowledge my opponent has scares me. I'm a resident of this town. I don't want to see somebody in that job that's got to do on-the-job training. It may work out well in the military, but it's not going to work out well for a town this size. I'm sorry. I think you have to gain the knowledge, come up through the ranks before you sit in that mayor's chair. It's an important job. You're the executive of the town. The people behind me will be the legislative branch. But as mayor, I would be the executive branch. And you have to have a handle on what's going on. Jonathan knows nothing about affordable housing, as shown by his flyers when he says, I've built 3,000 units of housing. Point in fact is his law firm has been responsible for over 10% of those units. Well over 300 units of affordable housing were represented by the Leon law firm. I will tell you going forward, I'm passionate about this job. I would have liked to have been mayor 4 years ago. But Mayor Kelleher has run for 3 terms. He's done a great job. He has decided to step down. I think I have the qualities and the knowledge and the leadership skills. As I said, you don't get to be a Rear Admiral in the United States Navy without leadership skills. Trust me, I've led large organizations. I know how to be a leader. I'm my own man. I'm not for sale. I treasure my integrity and my honor. I live by the code of the U.S. Navy: courage, honor, and commitment. Those aren't buzzwords. That's the way I live my life, and that's the way I've always lived my life. So going forward, I'm going to ask you to support us next Tuesday at the election. I want you to join us in this bold vision we have for the future that we've laid out for you. And I'm going to ask you to all come out and vote for Row A and join us on this journey to move Toms River forward in a positive direction. And once again, please reach out to your neighbors and friends on Monday night. Ask them to come out and vote. I think we've got a great team, and I think that this is the only team to lead Toms River into the future. We don't want Murphy Democrats running Toms River. We don't want sanctuary cities and states. We don't want $3.8 million in scholarships for illegal immigrants when our students have funds cut $2.7 million. We don't want $1.8 million for legal representation for illegal immigrants. And a driver's license is a privilege, not a right. You have to earn that right. I have to show 6 points of identification before I can get a driver's license. I don't think we want illegal immigrants driving. Please come out on November 5th and vote for us. Call your friends. This election will be close, there's no doubt about it. But I feel we have the team to lead this town forward in a positive direction. And with that, I ask for your support. And once again, join us on this journey. Thank you and have a great day. And we're out.